Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best cutting edge, most researched, most valuable, effective, and useful, and hopefully sometimes fun brain body tools so you could make yourself feel the way you want to feel, so you could do better, look better, and achieve success. Just this morning on my walk from the gym that I usually do, so I get my sun exposure. By the way, did you know that sun exposure is kind of new health rituals on the block, and it will improve everything. And actually, it is essential for good quality, consistent sleep, great mood, great focus, ability to pay attention and not be distracted, and also to have healthy, optimal levels of dopamine to get things done. So that sun exposure is one life-enhancing solution. That's again a little bit new on the blog, but anyhow, I was doing my walk while listening to Alex Hormozzi's podcast on mindset. And as I was walking and listening, I also, just before that, was thinking how mindset and how we talk to ourselves, how we evaluate things, how we frame things, meaning what kind of story we assign to everything we experience in life, that defines the quality of our lives. Like how we feel every single day will be defined by the stories we tell ourselves about the events that happen in our life. Like it doesn't matter what you achieve, what you have. I worked and am friends with people who have millions and billions, and then I'm friends with regular folks. And the amount of happiness, you probably already know that, is not correlated with your bank account or how many things you've done, you've built, or even learned. But it is correlated with the ability of an individual to tell better stories to themselves. And if you ask me, yes, things you build, things you create do matter in life. They make you into a person that you are. But what matters more is how you evaluate things that happen in your life and how you make yourself feel every day. Because again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you have, it matters how you feel. And you have a lot more control over how you feel than you think. Because no matter what happens in your life, you can always, in your head, frame it in a positive way. It's kind of like, that metaphor with the camera lens, which angle you choose to look at, or where you point that lens of the camera, whether that's a sunny side or a gloomy side. And all things in life have different sides. It's never black and white. You usually have both sides. So depending on where you decide to focus your attention, that's how you're gonna feel. That's how the thoughts you're gonna have, and that's also eventually what you're gonna do and how your life ends up being. It's full circle. Like you change the stories that you tell yourself, you change where you focus your attention, and then your thoughts change, your feelings change, what you do change, and what you get in your life change. And that's also a virtuous cycle, but you can also create a vicious cycle if you always focus on the darker side of things. And then not only you probably will experience less happiness, but you'll do less, and a lot of things will start collapsing. Anyhow, that all to say that the top people in their calling, in their career, their pursuit, who go there and stay there long term and also manage to stay happy, the best people figured one thing out. It's not what happens to you, it's how you evaluate what happens to you, what stories you tell yourself about what happens to you, and then also how you respond with your emotions, thoughts, stories, and actions. And today, besides giving you very practical tools on how to how to successfully change your mindset or manage your mindset to reach your goals. Very specific research-based tools that I've recently been using more with my clients and myself. Besides all of that, I just wanted to share with you that how your day goes. Like, you wake up usually with certain thoughts, certain feelings based on what's been happening in your life or what's about to happen. But here is this moment where you can actually change the direction of your story, where you can choose to evaluate whatever is happening in your life and has been happening in a positive light. And guess what? Because of that, your thoughts will change. Your emotions will change. The energy you bring into the day and to other people will change. Your actions will change. How the world responds to you will change. And all of that will change the trajectory of your life into more positive upward direction. So you have a lot more power to create your life than you think. But speaking of direction, this morning, I was thinking about the tools that I'm going to share with you. And a tool that I've been recently using quite a lot with my clients, I call a snowball effect. And this story or tool based on this snowball effect will help you to change direction over and over and over again. And so in a week from now, in a month from now, in a year, and definitely in 5 and 10 years, you'll be blown away by how those small moments of changing direction will snowball into completely different results in your life and business. So let's get to practice, and let me tell you stories. What's snowball effect and how you can use it to direct your life to an unimaginable destination, whether that's personal, business, relationships, or any other area of your life. So routinely, I check in with my clients. I ask them, how are you doing today? 1 to 10, where are you with how you feel about your day, how successful or positive you feel, like your energy, where is the quality of your day right now? And very often my clients would tell me the truth, that it might be at 5, or at 6, or sometimes even at 2 and a 3 out of 10. And then I would ask them, okay, you're at 3. What can you do? What small thing, what one step you can take today to make it into a 4? Like, you have a part of your day that you still are going to be living through, and a lot of things are in your control. Like, how can you make 3 into 4? And then my clients will tell me, well, I can spend more time with my friends and family. I can walk by the promenade here, for example, in Cape Town. I can go for a walk in the woods. I can do some exercise. I can eat a salad with some fish or whatever. I can take a bath. I can go to sauna to recover. I can work more on this project at work that's been bothering me, and that actually making progress will make me feel better, right? So all of this thing, I can go to bed earlier today and meditate, and this will make it feel for me as a 4. And I'm like, wow, you have so many options. And then what would very often happen with clients, like almost every single time, they would end up doing not one of those things, but 2 and 3, and sometimes like the whole list and even more. And I then would check in with them. So how did it feel? And he's like, I actually managed to get to like 6 or 7 or 8 from 3, right? And the most important thing was to make that choice, to take the action, to take back the control, and start thinking about a different direction. The choices you can make to make this 3 into 4. And so that moment of choice, of switching your thinking, of changing the direction of your thinking, once you catch it, the rest of it will have this snowball effect. where more and more good things start to accumulate and you're feeling better and better and better. And it's like, again, that snowball that you start small and you're rolling it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the same, of course, happens in the negative direction. If you have no system of checking in with yourself, if you have no accountability when you need it, just someone else checking on you, guess what? That snowball will go into a different direction. And although in reality it cannot get smaller and smaller and smaller, but please realize that there is another vicious cycle that happens when you start thinking, oh, well, that doesn't matter. The day is already shitty. I might as well go and eat a tub of ice cream or go drinking and watch Netflix and not sleep that night and wake up the next day feeling awful and having another awful day. You see, that moment, it's not that moment matters that much by itself, but that snowball effect that happens afterwards. That what truly matters. And catching more and more of these moments, becoming more and more self-aware and becoming more and more a captain of your thought process and how you direct it with questions. That's the ultimate skill that I want all of my clients to have. I want them to master the skill of directing your own thoughts, your own emotions, decisions, ultimately actions, and where your life snowballs from there. So this snowball effect, please realize that everything that you want in life, it's a bunch of those small moments of decisions that then snowball and very often catapult you into a completely different direction that in a week, in a month, in a year will make your life unrecognizable. Just a lot of those small moments snowballed into the right upward direction. And speaking of direction, not often you'll have a clarity about what is the next step to move myself into a positive direction. Especially, I'm learning that in business, you might have an issue like I did with cash flow, and you might not know how to actually move your business into the right direction. You're like, well, I know that there are all of these things that I can do, but I'm just not sure which action to take, which direction to go. Or perhaps in relationships, somebody makes you feel a certain way, not necessarily positive, and you're not sure how to react, how to respond, what action to take. And you just know that something has to change, but you're not sure what. And I borrowed this really beautiful framework of making a step towards your values from Brett Stulberg. He is a high performance coach, psychologist, researcher, author, and then Michael Gervais, also one of the top, if not the top, high performance psychologist out there, at least in the public arena. He recently wrote a book, but anyhow, both of them talk about this practice that they adapted with elite athletes and performers in business as well. So they talk about this framework of when you're not sure what to do, get back, reflect on your most important values. Both of them, for whichever reason, recommend having 5, and I chose 5. I worked through my values at some point, and I realized based on my life experience that these 5 values actually has been guiding my life. So number 1, freedom. Number 2, empowerment, showing up, empowering others. Number 3, kindness, being kind to people around me and myself first and foremost. Number 4, service, serving the world, serving the moment, serving the people, living life out of service. And number 5, purpose. Sense of purpose is one of the most important values. And when something feels that it has no purpose and no meaning, I'm not going to be doing that. Right? And so when I'm not sure what to do, I ask myself, how can I move towards those directions? Especially purpose and service, right? When I was not sure about what to do in business, I asked myself, what will move me towards my purpose and service to others? And guess what? I realized that I want to work with more startups and purpose impact driven companies. I realized that I want to be in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, specifically impact entrepreneurship. And service, I wanted to work with more people and help more people. And there were a few choices, lead generation strategies, talking to people, generating content that were moving me toward that direction of purpose and service. And I did those things and they worked. And now everything just keeps growing. And I have a lot more now in clarity and sense of direction and better strategies. But, or sometimes, like recently, I had sort of relationship that I couldn't really understand, like which bucket to put it into, whether that's like romantic or friendship, and then I ask myself, okay, how can I move into the direction of my values, into the direction of being kind, being empowering, but also being free? And once I asked myself that question, I had the answer. Like, this is actually how I want to show up for this specific relationship. This is how I want to treat this person, because that will mean I'm acting aligned with my values. And the less clarity we have, the more guidance we feel we need, the more we actually need these values to be very solid, understanding our core nature. And with my clients, I do more and more work on figuring out their why, figuring out their life's calling, figuring out their guiding values. So in the moment of confusion, they have this compass, not a map, not with precise navigator that will tell you exactly the step to take. Life really works like that. But instead having the compass. So anytime you feel confused, unclear, lost in your journey, then you have that compass that will tell you, this from all of the options actually feels like this will move me into the right direction. And that's all that matters. Just like with that snowball moment, the direction is what matters, not the precise, result that you're going to get or precise answer. So how can I move towards my values? And if you don't know your values, then you need to do the work, the discovery, and it takes time. And there are exercises in different schools of psychology and personal development. And if you need a session like that, then it is available in the show notes. Your own personalized executive coaching session. It's free. It's complimentary to the listeners of this podcast. So use the link in the show notes, schedule our 1 hour session, and let me know if you need help with values, realizing your why, like your purpose, your reason to do the most important things in your life, or perhaps you want to figure out your calling, like what it is you're supposed to do, what's your best career path, and how can you create it, right? So if you need help with that, please do use the link in the show notes. So if you know someone who is confused and clear and need help navigating this journey, whether that's business, career, or personal, then share with them that link and let them do the work guided together so they create a better, much stronger sense of direction in their life. So use the link in the show notes and share it. And then the last tool, snowball effect, what we learned today, we learned about how to make choices when we are confused, not clear, moving towards our values. The third tool I wanted to give you, also I've encountered it. I noticed the fact in my life, in the life of my clients who are entrepreneurs or leaders navigating their own journey with more autonomy and leadership, right? So I give these tools to them all of the time and try to create this in their life. I've had it in my life, and that's the only way I survived this journey of being a nomad and entrepreneur, but having so many uncertainties in my life. This is what allowed me to move forward without feeling like that leaf that the wind can blow any direction and having a sense of no balance. The only thing that kept me going, and more also coaches and performance psychologists and different mindset coaches and high performance coaches talk about that, is the power of routine to ground you in your life when you have a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unpredictability, a lot of things out of your control. And if you choose the path of a leader, of an entrepreneur, or perhaps leader in their organization, and you're charting the course of your life, and you choose the life of challenge, you choose the life of uncertainty, you choose the life of expansion, of growth, where a lot of things going to be out of your control, new and unpredictable. In order for you to feel like you have the ground to stand on, like you have a launch pad from which to shoot into the skies towards stars and your highest aspirations, in order for you to feel that ground, you need to create that sense of stability that doesn't depend on anything else, on anyone else in your life. And routine is that sense of stability. Guess what, folks? Your brain can create a sense of certainty, not just because of the certain place or because of certain relationship and person, but also because of the things you do consistently. Like when you have a routine. I usually recommend all of the clients I work with to have a simple routine in the morning and at night that grounds you back towards your core, towards stability, towards your resilience, right? It's like that tree, that is blown by the wind into different directions, but it stands solidly in the ground at the same spot. Like you want to be like that tree, no matter what wind, what direction blows you, you still stand solidly in the ground. So be that tree, and routine is what gives you roots when you might be changing your geographical locations, traveling around the world. Well, you might be changing your business in different directions. Your relationship might be shifting because you are changing. But when you have that one point of grounding, and your routine is that foundation that can be the same, can give you the grounding no matter where you are, no matter the location, no matter the people, no matter the business, no matter what. You can create a routine that will feel like that solid ground that you can rely on. A good thing about routine, there is no magic routine, and you don't have to do anything specific, but just have it. Like for me, going to bed and waking up on the same time gives that foundation, that feeling of being grounded. Or having my exercise routine in the morning, seeing the sun, having breakfast, and that's about it. So I go to bed, wake up on the same time, prefer to have my meals more or less at the same time, see the sun, have my also meditation, and have my exercise routine. Sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's gym, sometimes it's climbing the mountain, but I go through this circle. Okay, in the morning I wake up, I drink my water, I meditate, I go exercise, I see the sun, I get into work. At night, what do I do at night? Well, I read for at least 20 minutes before bed, and then I usually write down what's in my head to help me fall asleep. That's another tool that is research-based. And sometimes I say what I'm grateful on, sometimes not, but that reading, that writing down what's on my mind, so it allows me to peacefully go to bed, not processing all these thoughts, etc. Gratitude on and off, and then going to bed on the same time. That creates that end of the day. And walk. I completely forgot. Most days I do the walk at night. So I do the walk, I do the reading, and then I go to bed. And that's my morning and night routine. And that's what gives me the sense of balance, the sense of stability. And what I noticed with entrepreneurs I work with, a lot of them, when they start going through very busy, very challenging periods in their life, they throw away their routine out of the window. And I almost want to scream at them. This is what's going to keep you freaking going, no matter what happens in your life. Now, you don't have to have hours of routine, but just like dedicate to yourself those 15 minutes at the beginning of the day. Create the intention, create the feeling that you want to carry through the day. Create the vision for the day. Get into motion. Create the brain chemistry that you need, that dopamine that you get from exercise, from good night of sleep, from sun exposure. Create the positivity, the energy, the charge. Be in charge of your day, and then continue through your day. And believe me, guys, no matter what life throws your way, what wind comes, and from where it blows, when you have the routine, when you have that solid foundation that nothing can affect, you'll have the feeling of peace and calm and control anytime, anywhere, with any amount of stress and challenges coming your way. So get a routine. That's the point. And again, not just me telling you that, but high performance researchers, top of the top in the world. Pick up the book, by the way, by Brett Stulberg, Master of Change, How to Excel When Everything Around You, or When Everything is Changing, Including You, Master of Change. Also amazing book. A lot of tools and routine is also there. So and when I also listen to a lot of successful entrepreneurs like Alex Hormozi, they say they don't have routine, but they do. They do the same things, like waking up and then doing certain things. They might not, call it high performance routine or biohacking or whatever, but they all have this routine. The way they start their day, the way they finish their day, that gives them stability and balance. That's a distinct feature of all of them. And if you include that exercise in the morning, that light exposure, and have a good night of sleep on the same schedule, those are definite biological bonuses that improve your brain and body chemistry, making it optimal so you feel the best, so you do the best, and create some amazing, mind-blowing things in the world. And that's about it, guys. So to recap, today we talked about the snowball moments, those moments when you make the decision to change direction of your day, of your actions, by asking yourself, how can I make 3 into 4 or 5 into 6? What actions will put me on the upward direction? And you change the direction, and the rest of the day and even your life will snowball. You need to catch as many of those snowball moments as possible. Number 2, when you're not clear what direction to take, figure out your values and choose to act out of those values. Have that compass that will direct you in life, no matter how much confusion and lack of clarity you have. You always know what to do and what the right choice is. And then routine. Just like that tree, having solid foundation will allow you to get back to your normal, to resilience, to your strengths, no matter what winds and in what directions will blow you away or will try to blow you away. And from Alex Hormozi, last but not least, framing your own stories that you tell yourself about what happens in your life, those will define the quality of your life and how you feel every day. And when it comes to life, that actually all that matters, how you make yourself feel every day. And don't forget, in the show notes, there is a link to schedule your own executive coaching guiding session, whether you decide to work on your why, your values, your ikigai, or your calling in life, up to you, or perhaps your productivity, neuroscience-based productivity. Then use the link in the show notes, schedule our session, or share it with someone else. And the last but not least, folks, don't forget to share this podcast with as many people as possible. Put it in your status update on WhatsApp, put it in your Instagram stories, review us on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Stitcher or Podcast Addict. We are everywhere with our podcast. We are also global in how many countries? I believe there were like 99 countries that our podcast is listened to. So we are a global movement. So share, rate, review, help us to reach more ears of purpose-driven entrepreneurs. So together we can change the world. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention, and have a purpose-driven day. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day. Let the rest of the day be filled with more love than usual.